Shelby. Sam, I bet Trump hasn't been tested for COVID for a while. It's an extremely uncomfortable test. Does Trump seem like the kind of person that would make himself uncomfortable, maintain safety? That's why they didn't tell us when his last negative COVID test was. Everyone around him got tested for his safety, but no way Trump was routinely tested. It's been months. It's my guess. That's an interesting theory. They do have these Abbott tests, or they were using them, that apparently are not terribly accurate when it comes to people who are asymptomatic. But let's look at this. This is, I mean, the one thing is true. It's either he never got tested on a regular basis, like we were told that he was, which is the theory here that Shelby has on the IM, that it's just too uncomfortable for him, so he doesn't want to do it. Or that he tested positive on the day of the debate, and he still went. I don't believe this guy, Brian Morgenstern, who apparently is the White House Deputy Communications Director. When you go out onto a show or out in front of the public and you're going to answer questions, and the president has been in the hospital because he had COVID, the idea that they're not going to ask you when was the last test he had that he was negative is impossible to imagine. If you work in that White House, you walk out with that information armed. Here's Aaron Burnett asking him this question.
President started feeling symptoms, we are told, that was Thursday, right? So that means he was almost certainly infected on Tuesday when he went to the debate, because of the time the CDC has told us it takes between infection and the onset of symptoms. So can you categorically, Brian, say he tested negative on the day of the debate?
I don't have that. I have what I think everyone knows now, that what we've put together in terms of timeline, which is that we know that Hope had tested positive on Thursday. At some point later, the president had that confirmatory test, which he announced to the nation very late at night then. Yep. And so that's the information that we have. But the president had not been obviously showing any symptoms or anything like that. And
first off, Jamie, if I take a confirmatory test, what does that imply?
A test to confirm something?
Right. Well, to confirm maybe a prior test. That seems a little bit weird to me, but I think maybe he took an earlier test on Thursday. But that's something that we don't have? What? Does anybody believe that? Is there anybody in the country who believes that they don't have the information about whether Donald Trump tested positive or negative on that day, or the information that whether he took a test? How is it possible that the White House communications director goes out and doesn't have that information? I mean, one of two things is the case. He didn't take tests on a daily basis, and that's why. And they also came late and didn't take, apparently ABC was it ABC or whatever Cleveland was going to the Cleveland hospital was going to test, and they showed up too late for those tests. So either he didn't take a test on that day and lied, at least by implication, I mean, or they don't test him daily, or he knew that he was positive and he went there anyway. Or maybe anyway is the wrong way to phrase it. I mean, if Donald Trump thinks I tested positive, okay, I got it. I'm bringing everybody down with me. I mean,
screw it.
He's jokerfied.
I mean, honestly, it's one of two of those things. Here is Dr. Jonathan Rayner on with Don Lemon as to the question, is Donald Trump getting daily tested, or was he? Did he get tested prior to the debate? Or did he just go up there and assume I don't got it? Or did he know that he was positive? Here's that question on CNN.
Can be infected.
I think we've really started to put together the timeline here, and this is what I think it is. First of all, there's no chance the president was tested before the debate. I think that's pretty clear. He was symptomatic on Thursday night, and it takes about a week after infection to get sick enough to be admitted to the hospital. So I think the president was infected with the coronavirus for at least a week before he was admitted to the hospital. That takes him to the end of the prior week, before the Superspreader event. The rules of the debate required the both sides to list all of their attendees and to document that they've been tested within 72 hours. There's no chance that that happened with the president.
Could he be the super spreader here?
I think he is the super spreader. And I think the reason the White House will not have the CDC do a formal, check and review every single case is that they're concerned that the patient zero might be the president of the United States.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, honestly, like, how do you respond to that? And that's the best case scenario, right? Or I should say, best case scenario. That is the least reprehensible of this possible scenarios. That's pretty reprehensible. They obviously lied about getting tested, right? I mean, they signed a document that says we're going to get tested within 72 hours. Here's the test results. They obviously, I mean, they didn't leave it blank. They didn't leave it blank. The even more reprehensible ones, he knew that he was positive and he went. But either way, I mean, are you kidding me? And they're not doing contact tracing? I mean, think about this. There are people who have infected their families because they got infected through this either super spreader event or through a patient zero, Donald Trump, patient president, who have infected their families because the White House refuses to allow the CDC to do any type of contact tracing so that people really can be aware and predict whether they should go into quarantine or not, because they don't want it to be revealed how early the president was infected. I mean, it's almost as if like you went into a metaphor factory and said, let's do the perfect metaphor. Let's do the perfect metaphor for how the president has functioned with the American people, and we'll just make it something that people can digest and actually count the number of people that he is willing to risk their lives or their health for his own whatever convenience. I mean, it's nuts.